So hello and welcome back to another episode review of Star Trek, the animated series. Today's episode is Yesteryear. So this episode basically about Spock and how the time changed. The episode starts in the Guardian of the Forever, the big rock constellation, one actually serves as a gateway through time and space. Kirk and Spock was returning from a different time period from Orion's past, and everyone seems to be surprised. Who is Mr. Spock? No one seems to be remembering to Mr. Spock. So they've been aboard the ship, and even Scotty was like, "Who is this guy?" So Kirk realizes there's something wrong with the ship, and not with the ship, with the crew. They don't seem to remember Spock. And then Kirk just suggesting, it's like, "Don't you know the first officer of the ship?" And suddenly an Andorian first officer came into the transporter room and he said, "Yeah, I get much respect from the crew." So interesting, something happened in Orion's past which actually altered the timeline. So Mr. Spock never even born, or they didn't even know what's a way of Vulcan in this in the ship, why he's supposed to be the first officer when we have an Andorian on board. They find out Spock apparently died in the age of 7, and of course his mother as well, Amanda. Spock recalls there was an uncle who actually saved him once, getting died in the age of 7, back in the planet. But then he realizes he might be himself. So actually he went back to that time when he had to face with his own childhood and with his own fears and being a Vulcan human hybrid, let's say. So yeah, so Spock returns back in time to save himself. Basically he claims himself the uncle of Mr. Spock, of the young Spock. And there was one scene actually when he arrives to the house, he sees Spock and a few other Vulcans just, making fun of Spock, like he is half human, he is emotional, he's doing anything. It reminded me of the first scene from the 2009 Star Trek movie, when basically Spock, surrounding with these kids, they just mocking him, and then Spock ending up beating them up, and he at the end he fails. And he gets his lecture from his father. So basically this is exactly what happened in Yesteryear. Now it makes more sense. So basically in the 2009 movie, if I'm following this line, in terms of Spock, nothing happened really. Apart from the fact they got too close with Uhura. And seeing Spock remembering his childhood, more than a deja vu. Finally when the night is coming, he decides to go out in the middle of the night with his pet animal. He got himself into trouble, but of course old Spock actually going after him, and he saves his life. He saves his own life when he comes back from his past. So they've been back to the ship after all, and it was quite interesting to see Mr. Spock and Dr. McCoy having this banter against, like, "Oh, I see you took your vacation time, quite alright." And Spock replies, "You must be happy for your fortune, Doctor. It could have been an Andorian." Because Dr. McCoy actually was complaining about how he has to recalibrate the scanners for Vulcan physiology instead of human physiology. So yeah, these little things what actually makes Star Trek as it is. It's Star Trek. So it's a really interesting episode. I'm really glad I watched it. And as I said, now it sort of has a connection to the new timeline, to the Kelvin movies, to 2009 one actually, from the first couple of scenes from Spock's childhood. So it was a quite interesting episode. I really enjoyed to watch it, and I'm looking forward to the next one, which is the one of our planet is missing. What's gonna happen there? I have no idea, so I'm looking forward to watch it, and make sure I will make the review. If I would have to give a score for this episode as well, I would still, in this case, I think I would give 9 out of 10. A 9 out of 10, and the only point where I'm actually not really happy, well, I could have used a little explanation, or at least an introduction. There was this creature with the wings. So actually he looked like a giant humanoid bird, huge wings. He was like a scientific officer or something. But we didn't really get any introduction from him. There's no one says like, oh hi Mr. XYZ or whatever. So personally I missed a little introduction from that character, and I hope at one point in the future episodes I will actually see him back and we will know more about him. I really liked the fact as Major Barrett Roddenberry gave the voice for Amanda Gray, Spock's mother. I honestly I love Major Barrett as Luxon Troy, and of course the son of the computer. She was brilliant, and she was the Star Trek First Lady. She was just a special lady, honestly. And I'm so glad actually they stayed around in the animated series. Imagine the same characters with different voices. It would have been actually pretty different. So yeah, 8 out of 10. I think it's a brilliant score. It's a brilliant episode. I'm really recommending to watch it if you didn't. So next time, one of our planet is missing. So till next Wednesday, stay tuned for more geeky stuff and Star Trek stuff and whatever will come around this channel. Please check my website where I usually publish like 1 or 2 articles every week about geekiness and anything what happens with me or whatever comes to my mind. Check out my Instagram account where I usually put pictures on about geeky stuffs and even drawings. Now I'm back to drawing scale, so have a look. And yeah, till the next week, till next time, live long and prosper. And he said Star Trek wouldn't be as successful on TV as it will be on online. It's like, what? Star Trek made its debut in TV. It kept going on TV. Don't go into the ratings, because I know some of the series didn't really get the good ratings like Voyager or even Enterprise, despite the fact I loved all of them.